Welcome back to the Costas Verde Show. We're going to go over Bitcoin. It looks like I could end up being incorrect with my guess that Bitcoin is generally going to stay under the origin line, which right now the origin line right behind me, if I put a pin in it, is coming in at almost 20,000 even. It's an ascending line, so it's not just some horizontal, but right now it happens to be at 20K even, which is about last market cycle top. It's a very interesting area for sure. And my guess was in general that Bitcoin is, going to stay, hovering or below this origin line. I just found something in the charts that's suggesting that might not be the case. And the daily 21 up higher, where I have marked up here, might be the play over the next week. However, it's all going to ride on if the S&P 500 and stocks can close Friday strong. So let's dive in and check it out. All right. Maybe I need to get out of the habit of guessing micro time frame stuff, because this is going to be 2 times in a row that but I'm anticipating being wrong ahead of being wrong here. I found something in the charts that is suggesting that Bitcoin is going to ride the origin line instead of use it as resistance. So not necessarily use it as support, then blast off, but ride it in a way that, just some sloppy price action, something to this effect. And the time axis of that could be, 5 or 7 or 10 days. So between all of next week or into the week after next week. And if that happens, I want to be very clear. I've been showing, I did a little tweet on Twitter, like I had shorts in profit with my stops in profit type deal. So even if things go up, I can't lose, but I don't want that type of information to influence anybody to think everything's going down who doesn't know how to use risk management. So I want to be very clear. If Bitcoin, goes sloppy sideways, nothing fantastic, but just go sideways for 5 days, Bitcoin dominance is dropping and alts can really go up. Ethereum could go up to 1740. That'd be a 10% move. If Bitcoin just touches its daily 21 EMA, that's a 5% move on Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is dropping. When that happens, and Bitcoin even makes a small move up over a week, alts can do triple or quadruple that percentage. Especially hot alts like Matic and Atom. And I mean, even Ethereum's been hot. Ethereum could go up 10% easily over next week if that's the play. So what I want to do to start off here is I want to show you what made me doubt my idea in the first place. So I was just on a VIP call and I was staring at something as we're talking about economic data. And I was looking at RSI as everybody was having the discussion. And so I'm going to show you that first, what made me doubt this. And then given that information, what targets that it's going to have up high, and what time frame targets that way on the time axis is it going to have, and then I'll show you that stuff second. So let me dive into. I'm going to use the 8-hour chart. So for folks with free Tradingview who try to emulate what I'm doing on here, which is a good idea, to try to if I draw a triangle, you draw a triangle and make it black and make it black exactly like I do. But for free Tradingview, I don't think you have access to the 8-hour chart. So just a heads up in advance, this is what I found. And as we're doing that, just remember links to the Discord community in the description section, and Costas Verdes with the number 2 afterward on Twitter if you want to see me post some information out there on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, and the stock market. And also there's a join button below most of my videos, and a comical 90-second video will pop up describing what the YouTube tiers are and how they're different than Discord. All right. I'm going to take off these EMAs. I don't want to go into that. That was another thing we're doing on the VIP call. Okay, so I was looking at on the 8-hour chart. I went to the RSI. I might not be able to emulate this because I think I deleted the areas I earmarked. But in general, I see the RSI on the 8-hour, and actually, let me show you the whole thing. So so for newer viewers, green zone, red zone, this is very bearish zone. And it's, so I'm looking for, and there's a big difference between dropping down to the top of the red zone and the mid, and then like from here on, it's all very bearish. So I'm looking in the past, looking left, Other times where it went halfway or deeper into the red zone, this 8 hour, and with the assumption that the stock market, I think, will go down within 14 days, that means the 8 hour would have hit, it probably wouldn't have gotten much over this white line. So it either bumped it. So looking in the past for something similar to where the 8 hour got here and it ran for a week or two, it would bump its head on the red or white or somewhere in between. So that's what I looked for. Let's see if I can find it again. Oh, and in addition to that, what I was concentrating on is specifically it's a wider RSI jump that jumps very cleanly on this EMA. That's important too. So the depth with which it fell, and it cleanly gets on this EMA, and it doesn't just do bull market type of shit running out of here. So clean, deep down, clean jumps, and ends about here, and doesn't go to a big tear up, because I don't think that's going to happen. So I went back in time with that in mind. Gosh, let's see if I can find it. That looks those are pretty clean jumps. It did bump its head and went down. So I think I went from here, maybe this might be one, to here. Why can't I make a vertical line? There we go. And there was another one. So this one's kind of similar. It goes more than halfway down, but these aren't clean jumps. And it made a lower high. So I don't think... it did end up bumping on the white line, but I don't like this. This doesn't look similar to what it's doing. I don't think it was that one. Let's see. I know there's one more. See if I can find it. I don't know if I went this far back. Oh yeah, maybe I did. There it is. This guy. I think this was it. Or no. It was this one. Right next to it. Shit. Right there. So it goes deep down into the red zone. Clean bounces. And they're higher highs, higher lows. And ends between the white and the red. And goes down. So I'll actually take it from there to there. All right, now check this out. I think that was it. We'll find out though. Yeah, it was it. Perfect. Yes. Okay. So take a fractal here. Now you're going to have to bear with me dragging this damn thing out. I have to zoom out, drag it all the way over. So much for having my chart set up. But I want to show you the process I went through, right? So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to anticipate how that RSI is moving now and use that information to have the most probable way it's getting ready to move. Similar to what I do on price, right? If price is moving like such and such, then it's probable it's going to keep doing this. And so given that I could start on the RSI, and if I find a couple of those that meet the anticipation, given the current information, did I stretch this out? Maybe not. All right, somewhere, so from bottom, so that I did it from the bottom to the top, about like that. So let's see, about like this actually. There we go. And then the second one is right here. And this just turned into a stable coin. And what was it also writing? An origin line. See that? And it fell afterward, which is what I'm thinking. And the RSI on the 8 hour looks identical. Yeah, this was a battle on the origin line before a big drop. So check this out. Gosh, that would move sideways for them for a lot longer. Gee whiz. All right, so bottom to top. There we go. I like that. All right, I'm going to make that one a different color. I'm going to make that one orange and this one blue. Now, let's look at the time axis. So from, I know you can't really see price and it's getting a little sloppy, but the price candle currently is roughly right here. So I'm going to measure out how many days the orange one would be. Shit, that wasn't the same one, but it's just right in the origin line. It could go sideways for a while. Wow, that would be a month. Holy cow. And this one here, it would be a small bounce on SPX, then it goes down. That'd be a week, right? So the time axis from, a week to a month is possible here with that 8-hour RSI formation. And then what do they both roughly hit? If this, in this case, and then I'll identify what is it that they hit. What is driving price below, what is the EMA coming down on it at this point? And then after I identify what that is, I'll look back and see, does that make sense previously? Did that same EMA push price down, regardless of an origin line just before a big drop? Did price touch it and then go down? So we'll do that. All right, so this is a multi-step process, but you're able to watch me do it in front of you as opposed to just having there is advantage to bearing with me here. A lot of times, even my own analysis, I'll have the chart prepped and I could throw information at you, throw information too fast and it's like, wait, what am I really dealing with here? What's the point? So you're, watch me go through this now. I already identified this, so thank goodness I already know this part. You don't have to bear with me to hunt for it, but it's the daily 21. So let me go down to the hour chart. And throw on my daily 21. Is that it? Yep. Boom. And the daily 21 gets the heights of both of them. And this one the blue one would hit the daily 21, then go down. The other one would hit the daily 21, keep it steady, wick above it, and then go down. That would be the yellow line right there in that case. So it hits it a couple times before going down, right? So now let's look back and say, hey, does it make sense for a price to want to hit the 21 and go sideways to go reach it before then going down? Does that even happen? And so let's, what time frame should I be on? Let's go to the 8-hour chart. Why not? But I do have the daily 21 on. So even though I'm on the 8-hour, this is daily 21. All right, so let's look back and get rid of these. Actually, the same fractal that I just took. So yeah, this is one of my fractals. So in that case, was the 21 messed with price? Did price touch it or want to go up to touch it and then drop? It did. It did it after the fractal I took, but that's still what occurred during that 8-hour RSI stuff that I was looking out for. It raced up to the 21. And what was it getting ready to go under? Look, it was writing what? An origin line. So this is a very similar scenario. And it went above the daily 21. Similar to how one of those fractals had it going above it at the end. All right, so let's take a look here. Another origin line, dropping below this origin line. Did it toy with the 21 before dropping below this origin line? Yeah, once. I mean, really, twice, 3 times, 4 times. It even did the last one for good measure before going down. Shit. So this is a solid line for being the thing that pushes price below the origin line. And in my previous videos where I talk about EMAs pushing price below, I only picked the daily 10 and the weekly 10, but the daily 21 might be a better one. I probably made a small error in just historically looking at what is the best one line to look at if price is going to get squeezed below origin line. What's the one most likely thing that's going to squeeze it? I think it might be the daily 21, or at least as of recently. So, all right, so let's look back. Falling down the previous origin line. So this is going back to January. So January of this year, as it was falling below this origin line, did it want to toy with it? Yeah, it went below the origin line and then wicked up to touch it before falling. So it wanted to touch it before going. I mean, that's a lot in a row, isn't it? Next origin line, toying with another origin line, made another triangle. Did it touch it right before going down? Hell yeah, it did. Whew. I don't know how much farther back y'all want to go, but here was so Wyckoff was a lot different. I just fell from it. So that was ending a bull market. So that's not even the same thing. Let's do the previous bear market. So that fell below an orange line, fell below an orange line, fell below an orange line. So those aren't the same. So those three in a row, it didn't. Something else more, well, yeah, I mean, something else pushed it below. Maybe it was the daily 10 here in the previous bear market. Here we go. Here's another one. So once price started slowing down a little deeper into the bear market, this is 2018, maybe October. Where is this? No, it's May 2018. All right, bouncing on an origin line. And it reaches up to touch the 21 right before it drops. So that's a lot of them. It's not every one though. So let's go to current price. Has price already touched it as it's riding the origin line? Because that would give it reason, not to need to touch it. So get rid of these fractals. It hasn't touched it yet since it's riding the origin line. It looks like it's going to go reach it. So I think I am the timing of my bearishness. I mean, it's got a chance to be totally wrong. It might ride this for significantly longer and want to touch this. So if I put a pin in that, now that I'm showing you how, it's fairly high probability that's going to get hit. It's not guaranteed, but let's say it hits it tomorrow. That would be a big spike up on Bitcoin. Let's say it hits it, interacts with it, on early next week. Or wicks above next week. That's still 21. Hitting it exactly is 20,800, but that's still a decent move up. It hits it next week down lower. That's 4%. And if we look at Bitcoin dominance, which is not, I'm actually really surprised we're this deep into a bear market with Bitcoin dominance at all-time lows. You know what that means? That means a lot more pain is ahead. Bitcoin dominance has to go up. That means alts have got to drop way lower and way faster. Have you thought about that? Here, let's look at the chart. Look at this. Check this out. Why is my chart funky? There it is, 12-hour chart. Take this off. Look at that. Do you think Bitcoin dominance is supposed to freaking look like that if you're deep into a bear market? When does it usually hit that? Let's look at this. What do you think happened right after this line? In May, let's say the 16th of May last year. What happened? Last May. Wyckoff. What happened? Bitcoin went from $55,000 to $29,000 in like a day. It was really fast. It was insane. And I was out gardening with a bunch of people saying, "Where are you?" It happened during the day. I was out gardening. Because I was late. So yeah, in May 20th, I was planting my garden about a week later than I was really supposed to for optimal yield. I have a small garden. It's not like I'm a farmer with who knows optimal yield. All right, I'm not that country. So I mean, this is saying that there is going to be some pain ahead. So that's May. What was it? May 17th. Now let's go to Bitcoin price. Let's go to May 17th. Nope, it was during the drop. Right there. It was right there. May. Yep. So it was in the middle of Wyckoff. Why would Bitcoin dominance be at a low then? So it didn't spike down after it touched it. It just floated down. All right, let's do another one. I don't think Bitcoin dominance is supposed to be that low. How far back does Bitcoin dominance go? Yeah, it only goes back to 2020. So Bitcoin didn't pull out of the bear market, or I mean it didn't pull out of the bear market until about October. And Bitcoin dominance back here, had it been graphed, so let's say this is 2017 at the top, 20K top, Bitcoin dominance was like relative. So if it was like this, let's say it was in this channel, at that time, Bitcoin dominance is really low because altcoins were flying, and Bitcoin dominance had to go up, and that's during the drop. So during the big drop of from 2020, from 20K in 2017 down to, I think it went straight to, I think it did something insane on a wick. I think it might have hit 7,200 on that first descent down over a course of 2 weeks. And Bitcoin dominance spiked up. So I don't know. It just doesn't seem like Bitcoin dominance should be this low if this is max bear market. It's looking pretty nasty. But that's more long-term stuff. I'm kind of getting off topic here. But Bitcoin dominance going down that low. The more immediate point, though, is if it's going down, that means altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up to almost 21K, and just to touch that yellow line that I was talking about, alts are going to outperform it big time, right? So I could be about a week or two too early on my bearishness. So make sure everybody's aware with that. That is on the table. Now, know that tomorrow there is high impact economic data that comes out, and it could really change things. So like I said in the very beginning of the stream in this video, is that it depends on how Friday closes, right? So during my earlier Bitcoin video today, on the SPX chart, I gave exact coordinates on how to draw it. That's the same line you need to be looking at. If SPX tomorrow, so let me put it on behind me. But for folks who haven't seen that one, I give the exact coordinates so you can have the exact same line. So tomorrow you can look at the exact right thing. So tomorrow, not without diving into what the economic news is, you can check it out on forexfactory.com. That's honestly among the best tools out there for financial or traditional finance type of stuff. But so this line that I gave, if there's a good closure tomorrow, I mean, hell, even spiking up and coming down below it and then closing above, I think that's a solid closure. If tomorrow closes above this line tomorrow, then and then it closes for the weekend because this stops trading, right? Then Bitcoin and alts will have permission to roll up all weekend and into next week. And if this is a strong close, that gives it a better chance that next week it'll bounce there before going down. So that would give permission for alts and Bitcoin, to go up, for alts to go up longer, but for Bitcoin to go sideways longer, sideways / up, like those fractals were. They weren't downward slope. They had some chops up. So this closure tomorrow is going to be a big ass deal. And I don't know I don't know how to define a good closure. I'm not really for sure. I think it's going to be one of those cases you're going to know it when you see it. So for some reason, I can't put my finger on if this then, a definition, if this or better then good closure. I can't think of it. I think we're just going to have to wait to see what it does. But if you start seeing go below tomorrow, let's go to the 5-minute chart. If it starts going below this line for which I gave the coordinates, and use it as resistance, and then takes out the low. So in order to use this line as resistance, you have to go below it, right? So it goes below it, then uses it as resistance. If you take out the low that you made in order to then create a resistance, that is a bad closure. I mean, shit's going to accelerate if you get that happening. If it simply gets to this point here, it still has a chance to have a good closure. So tomorrow, if you take me up on drawing that line with coordinates, don't freak out and do 100x leverage shorts just because it goes below it. It could easily have a nice closure above, and then crypto just freaking flies over the weekend through the next week. So, closest where they said, no. It can go below it. But if it goes below, then used as resistance, then takes out the low it made before using it as resistance, that would be your edge a strong edge to the downside. And really anything, significantly better than what I just drew, I would potentially consider a good closure. I mean, maybe even a daily closure right under this, just even it hangs on. I still think that would at minimum give Bitcoin and crypto permission to ride up over the weekend. So this could get hotter. And, I've been fairly famous on, I'm not famous, but I've been famous for calling drops about a week too early. But I could feel it coming, but I'm 7 to 14 days too early. I did that in a few times in March and April when we had the 30% dip, then a 20% dip as it inched up to 64K. I felt it coming about a week too early. So, but just a heads up, these are the possibilities. So you might want to throw on the daily 21. Here's like in summary, how to manage the charts and feel really in control. Like I know what's going to happen within the realm of reason, right? Like anything beyond this would be surprising, and I know how to define it. So what's going to help you identify that is this blue line. Number 2, how the closure is tomorrow. And then the daily 21 on Bitcoin. If good closure tomorrow, then daily 21 Bitcoin is going to be your best freaking friend. If bad closure tomorrow, forget the daily 21. It ain't going to be it. And we're going down. And that is how you just those two things is going to help you significantly in the charts. And then if it does have a bad closure, then we'll be, at least on Discord, we'll be partying, rocking and rolling with our shorts in hand. But I'll have to give you your new best friend and new targets down below using the channel. If tomorrow's a bad closure. So that's what I'm focusing on. And, we won't have a follow-up to this until later in the day on Friday. So it won't be the morning that you're going to be able to tell. So that is it for this Bitcoin segment / altcoins / altcoin market. It could really rock, folks. All right. Let me look. Ethereum. Okay. So Ethereum, if Bitcoin, if S&P, actually, let me think of what I'm going to say. Yeah. Ethereum can go up to 1740 to 1750 if on Friday, September 2nd, S&P 500 closes above my magic blue line that I covered earlier today on Thursday. In my Thursday video, I gave the exact coordinates. If S&P 500 could close, SPX can close over that, then over the weekend / through next week, I'm going to show you why 1740 to 1750 on Ethereum is going to be the very likely target. And again, that's if SPX has a good Friday closure on September the 2nd. Let's dive in. All right. So remember I said if Bitcoin goes up, what did I say? Like 5.5% to the daily 21. So in my Bitcoin portion of this video, and for folks watching the recording of this, you got to watch the Bitcoin video that was released this, about the same hour. But the S&P 500 would activate the daily 21 as Bitcoin's target. That's 5.5% above current Bitcoin price. Given that, so that would mean Good Friday closure means up, especially for alts or up for Bitcoin. And then given that Bitcoin dominance is dropping, so just a couple of pieces to this puzzle to get the target of 1740, 1750. I think there's one more piece to the puzzle. This is dropping. That means if Bitcoin goes up 5%, then alts are going to far outperform it, right? Because this is dropping, or no, the wrong arrow. If this is dropping and Bitcoin goes up a little, even a smidge, altcoins are going to go up 3 to 4 times, and Ethereum will go up twice as much, right? It just did. There was a recent day that I looked at the left-hand side of my chart, this thing right here, this guy, and Bitcoin was up 3.8% and Ethereum, less than 4%, and Ethereum was up 8.2% because Bitcoin dominance is dropping, right? So every baby bounce up, even if it's a lower high on Bitcoin, right? But some type of movement up, alts are making higher local highs. A lot of them are, not all of them. Cardano's not, but many are making new local highs on the 1 hour chart. All right, so Ethereum, with all that said, okay, well, if Bitcoin go up 5% to hit the daily 21, which would be activated with a Good Friday closure on SPX, that's 5% on Ethereum. Go down to the 1 hour chart here. And it would go up twice as much. Then just measure up to about 10% and then look left. What structure does it meet with? Well, I already did this, obviously. So I look left, it hits that little structure here, 1742. I wonder if there's an EMA up there. All right, let's do this. So we know what line would be our best friend on Ethereum. So on Bitcoin, if Good Friday closure on SPX above the magic line, then daily 21 for Bitcoin. But if that good closure on SPX, then what would be your best? Well, this horizontal would be your best line. But I wonder what EMA it would be interacting with. So let me fish around for this so you can see how I kind of work stuff and try to find confluence. So it would be extra. So if there is a nice EMA coming down to this, let me, I'm going to keep these two boxes on over here. So don't get distracted by this box and this box. We're looking at this guy. If there is an important EMA coming down to a horizontal as Bitcoin races to the daily 21, then not only does it create, so what I'm about to say is kind of important. It's an interesting, it's almost like when two important lines cross, it tends to suck price into it. It doesn't matter if price is currently above it or currently below it. So it's a weird thing where you have a key horizontal or it's not a key horizontal, but a horizontal like that, in which sellers would come in. But if you also have an EMA coming in, it increases the chance that not only will it act as double resistance, but it's double the reason for price to go up there in the first place, to touch it. Does that make sense? So it acts as a vacuum and then just spits it out. But we got to find out what that is. If there's nothing there, then, there's nothing there, but let's go look. There might not be anything there. I really don't know. It might be the daily 89. No, Ethereum already got above the daily 89. So let's fish. Let's go fishing for an EMA. So that'd be another wick above the daily. So the daily 89 is up there. Where's the 200? So the 200 EMA is way too high. The 80, that would be a failure pattern above the daily 89. Okay, so that would mean let's look for the daily 200. What's the SMA doing? No, it's also up too high. Let's go to the weekly chart. Is it the weekly 21 there? Weekly 21's a powerful EMA. No, weekly 21's pretty high too. Yeah, that would take a couple weeks to get down there. So it'd be a failure pattern, but so there's nothing massively crossing unless I am just not using my brain correctly and I'm not thinking daily 200s, weekly, maybe the monthly 10. Hold on. No, that's way up there. So for Ethereum, if you have a good closure on SPX on Friday, then the daily 89 is going to be, it's not going to be perfect, but you're going to expect price to want to interact with it. So let's do that. Is that the daily 89? Yes, it is. So you're going to want to expect price to get, so this was what rejected. See that? It just rejected Ethereum price. So its second attempt to get above, it might do a failure pattern above it. So that'd be what I look out for if SPX has a nice closure. And again, the horizontal's coming in at roughly 1742 to 1750. And it matches up with the structure, the price structure back from August 19th of this year, 2022. And that's what I see going for Ethereum. But again, that won't happen if the on the Bitcoin portion of this stream / my Bitcoin video, if you see SPX do that rejection pattern below the blue line, then none of that will happen. Again, all of this, this target, don't forget that. That's the core idea, is the closure on Friday, September 2nd on SPX. but I'm anticipating the possibility of a decent closure. So if decent closure, then activate this stuff. But until then, just realize, this isn't necessarily something I need on my chart right now, but I'm ready to activate it if so. So keep this analysis, just have that feeling of this analysis. I'm not predicting this quite yet. But I do want to let you know that, my videos have been a little bit more bearish, and I want to prepare you, like this could take a nice ride up over the next week. Ethereum could easily scream up, and other alts that have been performing well, Matic, Atom, Near, they could fly up more than 10%. Over the next week. They could really smoke you if you're trying to be short. So, and again, I've been short. I've been talking about being short, and I don't want anybody who watches me trying to piss around with futures thinking, this one's the most volatile atom. It's going to go down the most. No, those are the ones that are going to smoke you the hardest if this were to happen. If you're trying to be short on those hot alts without understanding risk management. So I've seen a few YouTube comments about, oh, you said 1620 on Ethereum. I took that trade. I don't think that person was like a VIP in Discord or anything. You're just watching my videos because I pointed to 1620 and Ethereum went, where is it? Ethereum went exactly to it. So if there's anybody else out there, I hopefully am being very clear in that first, this is not financial advice. And, but I want everybody to be safe. All right. So that is the Ethereum portion of this video. I hope that it was helpful. All right, and let's start looking at some questions. Here we go. I'm going to turn on my air conditioner. Okay. I'm almost out of air conditioner season in the Midwest. We're so close. So close. Whew. All right. Hey, Dan, or Nate Daniel. Nice to see you in here. Up or down? So Animals Lover had a question, up or down? Yes, that is my answer, up or down. But you're going to have a better understanding of which way at the end of tomorrow. But if it's down though, then you're actually going to know before the end of tomorrow. But you won't know if it's up until the end of tomorrow. But you could know by 10 a.m. New York time on Friday, September 2nd, if it's going to be down. Based off what I drew on the first portion of this, you might know sooner. All right, KDA. Yeah, LTC's been hot. I got stopped out twice on that son of a bitch. Once in profit, once just barely out of profit. Yeah, I'm done trying to piss around with it. Litecoin's been moving, so I'll cover Litecoin. We'll do KDA. Yeah, I'll take a look at Litecoin first, since I don't record those videos and I need my air conditioner on a little longer. So I don't mean to go out of order, but I'm doing it for selfish reasons because I'm hot. All right, so this is an origin line here. So again, this is also riding some key origin lines during all this, right? And you also got the daily 89 in play, kind of like Ethereum. It's trying to use this as support. So a coin similar to this in a similar scenario is Dash. It's under its origin line. See that? And it hasn't been as hot. Like, these lines are real. So because Ethereum could bounce on its, but Dash couldn't, Ethereum has taken out local highs. See that? See how far below so I'm on the 1 hour chart. See how far below the 1 hour high, the local high it is? Right? And look at Litecoin. It's above the local high on the 1 hour. Why? Because it was able to use this as support. And that made all the difference in local structure. Like this line that goes way years and years in the past. That's why it had permission. Yeah, it was able to hold on. And honestly, typically Litecoin doesn't run very hard, as Bitcoin dominance drops, but because it bounced on that origin line, it has permission. Like it has permission to go up to here. Let's see, hopefully this is less than 15%. It's right at 15%. I don't know if it's going to get that hot, but it could. This is the hottest I could see it going over the next week, but it could hit. It would probably have to get above the daily 89 first, bounce its head, higher, low, bounce on it, boom, and bam. So it'd probably have to do something like that. It would have to use the daily 89 as a trampoline to get there. It's not just going to smoke that line. So similar to Ethereum, if good closure on SPX on Friday, September 2nd, then daily 89 is your best friend. Same thing for Ethereum. If good closure, then 89 is your best friend. Yeah, and honestly, it's even a better best friend than on Ethereum because Ethereum has total permission to bust through it. I think I think Litecoin needs to, in order to like meet its really bullish target, this needs to bounce on it. But Ethereum doesn't, because Ethereum already tested it really nicely. Well, actually, Litecoin freaking did too. What am I talking about? I guess it I don't know. It kind of does have permission to fly through. I'm going to take that back. It's its third attempt. 1, 2, 3. And a bounce on the origin line. This has permission to do it. So, but I would still say this would be the hottest I see it. So I guess it doesn't have to bounce on here to get to that point. However, you do have a strong wick making a horizontal with a lot of structure because of this wick back on the July 20th. It's going to be hard for it to get over this, though. So maybe it does need to bounce on the daily 89 because of this, or I might go back to my original freaking statement. This horizontal is going to be tough, and it's right at the daily 89. So I think actually it will have to bounce here in order to get up to the 66 level. So let me put a pin in this. So for Litecoin, for the upside, around 61.50 or so is your first pit stop. It's going to struggle to get over there, and if that can be used as support, most likely it has to be used as support in order for the next target to be initiated. I doubt. I guess it could, but I think it's unlikely it would smoke it and then land on it and then do a lower high and then come down in 2 weeks or something. That could happen. Maybe the third most likely is that it smokes the line, uses it as support, lower high, then tumbles. Yeah, I guess it could. It could. So let me draw this out more formally, since you are a tier member and I need to do you better justice. Here we go. So it could, if this target's going to be hit, it could either hit this horizontal that is labeled, get above it, and then hit it. Or sometimes it does it like this. It gets it consolidates under it, then gets through it with volume. So one of these. This shape, either just below it or just above it. Consolidation under or consolidation as support. Both of those work, okay, in order to get to 66. Another possible price path for this Bizach is it really does, it just flies through the line, it hits this, and then uses this as support, lower high, come down, trickle down, and then tank. So let's make that a different color. Let's make it green. Either of those price paths are totally allowable with a strong SPX closure on Friday, September 2nd. All right, now we'll go to, I'll turn off my air conditioner, and we're going to do a quick try this one. All right. Again, I can't stress enough, these shapes are no bueno. Don't even think about it if it's a bad closure tomorrow on SPX. Okay, it's a definite if-then statement. But I am kind of I feel that I'm coming across as I'm assuming it's going to be a good closure, but don't make that assumption. This stuff has not activated as a possibility yet, or as a strong possibility yet. The activation would be tomorrow. All right, what was I going to do? Kadena, here we go. Ugh, this is not doing very well. This is weak. This is very weak. Man, it's hanging out by its lows. This is when Bitcoin hit 17.5, or one of these was. And so this would, shit, this is not good. Bitcoin, so is Bitcoin only 15% above? That's more than that, isn't it? Let me go to Bitcoin. Maybe it is only 15% above. Huh, it is only, so it's the same as Bitcoin. It just looks weaker. All right. So I guess it's not underperforming Bitcoin. All right. All right, we're going to cover some KDA. The first thing I'm noticing is that KDA is hanging out near its lows, and it's not outperforming Bitcoin at all as Bitcoin dominance is dropping. So when Bitcoin dominance drops, that essentially means altcoins are flying harder, right? Even if Bitcoin just goes up on a lower high, it doesn't really do anything fantastic. That if Bitcoin dominance is dropping during that type of bearish movement, but oscillation up on Bitcoin, that means a lot of altcoins are going to make higher local highs, right? They're going to start making a 1 hour uptrend or potentially a daily uptrend. And KDA is not. It's not. So from its lows, let me make myself smaller here. From its lows, these two lows down here, which are their all-time lows of 2022, it's only 15% above those. 16. And Bitcoin is 15% above its lows. So that means KDA is exactly with Bitcoin. But the bad thing is, so it's not, that's not horrible news, but just I want you to realize the ramifications of that. Some alts are flying. Some alts are popping. KDA is not. Keep that in mind. I know a lot of people are super bullish on it, but if, I just take that information for what you will. It's not flying where, along with other coins that have some serious interest with money behind it. Okay. I'm definitely not fighting on anything. I'm literally stating facts of the charts. All right. I would say if Bitcoin or if SPX gets a good Friday closure on the 2nd of September and Bitcoin could go slideways. Let's slideways. I was going to say slightly up and sideways. I might have just invented a new word. Going slideways. My kids invented the word hanitizer. I don't know if they actually invented it, but they say it. Maybe they got it off of some YouTuber they watch or whatever. But anyway, hanitizer. So hanitizer slideways. If Bitcoin does go sideways after a good SPX closure, where would KDA go to the upside? The daily 89, I don't think is going to be in play. That's way too much. Bitcoin only has to go 5% to meet its target of a daily 21, and this just isn't going to be in play. So you don't need the daily 89 as a best friend on this one. Like you do on Litecoin and Ethereum, this one gets activated tomorrow as a key target if SPX closes good. On KDA, that's not the case because it won't hit it under those parameters. So let's throw on some other stuff here. And that's the 4-hour 10. It's already above that. That's the daily 89. That's the day. It'll get above the daily 10. That's also the daily. That's the daily 21. So honestly, if so with a good SPX closure, what activates for Bitcoin as its primary target is the daily 21. That's Bitcoin. I think it's also the case for. I think it's just going to keep following Bitcoin. I think I didn't mean to draw a fib. I think the daily 21 will be your best friend on KDA with a good closure tomorrow on traditional finance. If traditional finance takes a poo tomorrow, okay, so change the topic. So do you want me to put a price on that? Here, let's put a price on it. It probably aligns with some horizontals as well, but let's do this. So tomorrow, it might not happen for a little bit, but it could even wick above, something like there. This yellow line. And let's look left to see if there's some horizontal work there. Strong wick. Not a strong wick, but a wick. All right, so I'm looking at, to make my horizontal, I'm eyeballing that one specifically. That's a strong one. And then I'm also looking at that guy. So let me draw a horizontal. Those aren't perfect though, but this one's a good one. This one creates horizontals that work for sure. The other one is questionable. It's not a very good wick. Man, it might have trouble doing anything, but honestly, I would say $1.70 is. It could, if it does a failure pattern and wants to touch more recent structure like this and these wicks down here. If it goes a little higher than that, it's gonna have immediate resistance, like right here. So I would have an immediate target of $1.70 if it happens to start outperforming Bitcoin, which could happen on the if Bitcoin can run confidently for 5 or go sideways for 5 days. 170 to 180. 180 I think is less probable, but it could do it. As Bitcoin dominance is dropping more and more and more, I think people might start taking profits on some of the hotter alts, and they might start looking to dump it in other stuff. So this could start outperforming. Those would be my upward targets. Now, if it slides down, so no Bitcoin slideways, but rather it goes down from a bad SPX closure on Friday. Well, my black triangle isn't going to, well, it still has time. Then my black triangle will be hit. It looks like it's going to get avoided. So this looks like it's going to have a massive horizontal here. Let's find out so downside target's exactly what to put on your chart. So watch me try to figure this out real quick. I want exactitude, similar to how I got exactly 1620 on that recent wick up on Ethereum before it moved down like 5%, just slammed up and then came right back down. So this is how I did that. I start on actually sometimes I start on the monthly. Even though that was an upside target, I would say one box is from that monthly wick to that monthly wick. Let's see how this aligns on the weekly. That's exact. Yeah, that's gonna be your target. That was easy. Yeah, clear and obvious target. Okay, so it's just the recent lows. It'll probably get some bounce from there. So let me zoom into the 15-minute. No, I'll go to the 1 hour chart. Downside targets with the bad SPX closure on Friday. You're gonna see price. I'm gonna leave this triangle here. I want to move it right now, but I'm gonna leave it there just in case it does pierce it. I can say, hey, it did hit my triangle, but as of now, it kind of looks like it's not. But bad closure, I can see price. Maybe a second round up, maybe, it could do something like this, or just doesn't go up at all. Just bam, one of those two, with a potential for a second rejection. So test of the origin line before it falls down, and then a possible retest of it. But it also could just hang out. I think this horizontal can make price hang out. So let's see how far of a drop that would be. Make sure this makes sense. Yeah, 12.30. That makes sense. And that would mean Bitcoin has fallen down to its point of control in its channel. So this is the horizontal to be looking at. So this horizontal with upper and lower targets of 30. So it's a 3-cent range. $1.37 to $1.40 horizontal will be your best friend. And just like I did for the, I can't remember if it was for this one or if it was for Litecoin. We went hunting for an EMA to the upside. Let's see if there's an EMA down here to give it double support. I have a feeling there might be, but let's take a look. I want to be able to tell you exactly, what best tools on your chart for either case, because it really could go either way. But it's going to be easy to identify, okay, once we realize it's going up, what do I need on my chart? So I've already done that for the upside. I think there should be one more tool for the downside. Let's do... And it's below everything. There are no, so it's below all of its important EMAs. So it's just that horizontal is going to be your best friend. Easy peasy horizontal. So that is going to be your favorite tool for downside targets. And again, it's a 3-cent range between $1.37 to $1.40. And again, what happens after that juncture? I'll have to see what Bitcoin and the stock market are doing. I don't want to guess what happens beyond there, but downside move, I could see this hit. I probably get some type of bounce, hangs out before really tanking. Now, if there's just a catastrophic sell-off on Friday, okay, it's going to bust through there, right? So minus flash crash. You can't really predict flash crashes very well, so I'm not going to predict that. That might be the 5th most likely, but so save a flash crash, which has a possibility of happening. But I don't think it's a strong enough possibility to really consider. I think something like this to the downside is what you're looking for KD8, and it might look exactly like that. So there you go. Right. Take a look. All right, Adam. Yeah, man. Adam, bear market targets I can do easily because I think I already have it on the chart. I think. Oh shit, it's flying through. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is ridiculous. This is getting hot. Son of a bitch. I probably just entered and got stopped out all at once. Damn. But that's why I've been warning. Like, I think alts could really go, but I'm just letting my stops do the work. I already knew what I was getting into. All right, so here we go. These lines are the wrong color, but all right, bear market. Yeah, Adam has been on fire. Unlike the token we just covered. Okay. I mean, hell, remember how much off of the lows that previous one was? 15%? Look at this. Freaking 127% off its lows. That's a big ass difference. That's a big ass difference. All right. Man, this has been hot as hell. Okay. I'm thinking I like to mark off for bear market targets November and February. So that means I need to go to the daily chart. And if things over the next couple weeks brings her back down, something like that, I can look at the average slope. All right, so if Adam, all right, it's actually maybe I haven't done this before. I just got to ask about bear market, bear bottom. So bear and double meaning. So bear bottom, bear market targets for Adam. There, it's going to be a pretty wide range, and I'm going to show you why here. The average slope of this bear market for this asset has been, you can see with the rotated rectangle that's orange. If I can make this click. Okay. These are origin lines, which essentially are the pads or the bumpers off of which price plays historically, right? And it's going to keep doing it. But so these are the bumper pads. Essentially, it's not cheat code necessarily, but it's like drawing between the lines, essentially. There are lots of ways to fill in a color between a couple lines, right? So it's not quite a cheat code. So don't think of it that way. And these vertical lines is November and so November of this year, 2022, and February of 2023, because those are just my guesses on the time axis when shit's going to tank down. So now we have the timing intersecting with the average slope of the drop, and it creates 4 points. And it's going to be a big ass range. I mean, one of these suggests that this is a candidate to have already bottomed along with Quant. What was the other one? Yeah, Quant is a strong candidate for potentially having already bottomed, even if Bitcoin makes a lot lower of a low. But honestly, this is a candidate as well. I don't know if it's quite as strong of a candidate, but the lowest it might go, even if Bitcoin tanks down to like 10,000 or 12,000 or 14 or 15, it's possible that that Atom only goes back down to 820. However, you can see these numbers for yourself. It's a very drastic difference, right? So what is going to, long term be your indicator for which one of these COSA targets, is going to be the most realistic? Because I want to give you those two tools. So macro tools for this, I would use the Bitcoin dominance chart, and I would try to copy the lines, the origin lines that I have on the Nasdaq Composite futures chart. Using those two things together, I feel that you're going to be, as we get closer, to at least closer to the time axis, okay, this way, closer to this line and this line, regardless of how high or low price is. As we get closer, those two tools are going to allow you to better guess which target is right. So let me go into that and why. So the Nasdaq Composite chart, for folks who might be, jumping on here asking about, interested in Atom without having followed my Bitcoin videos where I've covered this extensively, which is fine. Zooming out here on the 2-day chart, and this is the ticker if you want to pull it up on TradingView yourself. You just type in NQ1 exclamation. Line A is going to be hit, right? It's just always hit, and that's what's going to happen. The stock market can't bottom until that happens, and Bitcoin likely won't either. But that is the point in which Bitcoin can potentially separate itself in the minds of the speculators with large amounts of money, so hedge funds, all that stuff. It could create a race to Bitcoin for safety, because right now Nasdaq is what is considered risk on, right? And Bitcoin trades with it. So Bitcoin, in the eyes of big money, where they don't like risk, Bitcoin's very volatile. That's why it's traded as a risk on asset. I mean, technically it is, even though it's not supposed to be, but it is. It's really, really volatile. So it's trading with this market. Once this line A is hit, and I'm going to connect it back to Adam here in a second with those lines, but this is one of your tools. So let me make myself invisible, and you might want to do your best to make it look the same. You could pick different colors, but try to do that. All right. This is one of the tools you're going to use. So once Nasdaq in the, later this year, whenever it happens, I mean, hell, it could be next month, but whenever it hits this, if Bitcoin doesn't start outperforming this market, Bitcoin hasn't bottomed or whatever, it doesn't make a V shape or it doesn't do something good, all right, then Bitcoin is going to continue to come down with the stock market until line B is hit. Because this Nasdaq went so far above the equator line, so this is the master origin line, right? It's always hit. Because it went too far above it, as it comes to touch it, it's going to overshoot it. That's what the stock market is very, very likely going to do. Very likely. The question for Bitcoin is, will Bitcoin go down with this chart until line A or until line B? Make sense? So that's why I want you to copy that, because over the months, when line A is hit, that's your cue. Okay, now let's start going back to the Atom chart. And you're going to be able to, so if you see that Bitcoin's going to keep going down with it until line B, well, then you can by that cross out this one. So when line A is hit, and you won't be able to do it in the exact hour candle it's hit. It'll take a couple weeks, maybe a month to figure it out. But around that time, it's not the exact instant line A is hit, but around that time, that's when you start figuring out, you're going to be able to start identifying, am I going to delete this as an option? On top of that, particularly, well, actually in both cases, but particularly in the case that Bitcoin does not separate from the market at that time, what will be the second tool that you'll want to use to calibrate that is Bitcoin dominance. Because if Bitcoin, which it looks like it's going to bounce here, if Bitcoin is both going down to line B and Bitcoin dominance goes up while Bitcoin's going down with the market, that means altcoins will go down faster, right? So then, going back to the Atom chart, you can start honing in, ooh, these lower targets might be it. So you have to have two things happen. Bitcoin keeps going down with the stock market, down to line B, and this gets a big bounce. That's when alts are going to get their asses kicked. They would, even strong alts, they would drop 70% from their current price, roughly, in that situation. It would. Weak alts, even if they're down 98%, or 95% now, they're going to drop 80 to 90% more. More from current price. Doesn't matter if they're already down 95% from the all-time high. They're going to drop 90% more from their current price if that in that case were to happen. Because that means Bitcoin's going to 4 digits. And weak alts, it's just the market book. It's like anybody doing market orders, which means buy now or sell now, not wait for it to be filled. Almost all market orders are going to be sell because people are going to be panicking. Small alts down 95% are the only market orders. Like it's going to be vast majority sell. They're going to go down. So, and the order books are thinner. That's why it doesn't matter if small alts are already down 95%, right? But things like Atom, so this is an Atom video. Things like Atom, they're a hell of a lot stronger. I don't think Atom will be like the sole. Like I don't think if Bitcoin dominance rises as Bitcoin dominance is falling, I don't think Atom would be the only one that that goes up. But I think Bitcoin dominance would have to stay low while Bitcoin continues to be pulled down to line B. But I don't see that happening. I think if Bitcoin's pulled down to line B, this is going to fire up and come right back up to this horizontal. So make myself invisible here. I think it'll just play in this range. And alts, so big, nice, strong alts will be down 70%. I'm just making rough guesses, but roughly 70% from current price. So let's actually now go back to Atom. Does that make sense? Does it match up to one of my numbers? I actually don't know. I could be way off. Let's find out. I got my toes crossed. 70%. That's right here. It's in the middle of right there. It's between that one and that one. So yeah, it is not. So that all does seem to align in specific regard to Bitcoin using those two tools as your guide throughout the months. Bitcoin dominance and the Nasdaq line A and line B, but go back and do all this. So that was a more complex one because Atom's been strong. So it's got a big range, so you have to do more work. Most alts, you don't have to do all that work to try to calibrate a bottom. They're just weak, and they're like definitely going to stay in this channel, right? So you can, and it's a tighter channel, and the bottoms are going to be a little easier to see on most alts. But because this is a candidate to potentially have already bottomed, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, and you need a little bit more tools than just this chart, the chart of itself. Hopefully that was helpful for Atom. All right. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't done an Atom one. Okay, here we go. I'm not getting through these questions very fast. I'm already an hour into this. So just a heads up. And for folks newer who haven't been on my streams before, the folks in the live chat with the emblems, I'm skipping to those questions because those are the YouTube tier members. And so I don't skip people's questions to be rude. It's simply I have enough of the tier members who are paying to be part of it to get that privilege. So I'm not doing that to be rude. It's just what I promise, what I talk about, what I offer for those tiers as a benefit. All right. Hey, Tim, KCS. Yes. And it'll probably take up all my time, which means I have to skip the other questions. All right. KuCoin shares. Yeah. Let's take a look. I think KuCoin shares has been relatively strong with one punch with kind of one punched out. Why is Kate? Okay, my black triangle was hit. Oh no, look at that. Huh. When did I do this? That wasn't a bad guess. It actually was a slightly... Well, I did guess it could here, so it did hold up. It wasn't a bad guess. All right, let's get rid of this stuff so I don't make my analysis bias. September 2nd. Oh, I was talking about the daily 89. Pushing it below this origin line. Okay. All right, I see. Okay, I'm going to take... I'm going to take a look at KuCoin shares, I'm going to mostly focus on short-term price action over the next 7 days because the closure of S&P 500, per my Bitcoin video and other videos, Friday's closure on September 2nd is going to be integral to greatly change what's going to happen in all of crypto. And so there's going to be, we don't really have an edge on direction until then. So I have to give cases for the upside and the downside because it's not smart really to guess which one yet until you get something more definitive on traditional markets on Friday the 2nd. So that's what we're going to run into, and let's dive in. But since I already have it on the macro chart, from a macro perspective on KCS, I do have bear market targets already labeled. So if Bitcoin and can separate itself from the stock market before the stock market hits line B on my Nasdaq Composite futures, I think bear market targets could be like, 450 or so, somewhere in that area. But if Bitcoin really gets dragged down longer, into and more than just February of 2023, it takes longer for the stock market to keep correcting down to line B. It's going to be a drastically different target. So macro, this also is really going to depend on Bitcoin's performance versus especially risk on assets on Nasdaq. So very, very drastically different targets. And you might want to, if you're a KuCoin shares person, you might want to take this time to look at my chart on how I do this. Maybe I can make these lines a little bit more visible. And you might try to make these origin lines look the same or as close to the same on your chart. Because if you're asking about it, that means you like this coin. And you'll see here when we zoom into these lines, they work for micro stuff, right? So there you go. And let me get rid of some of these horizontals. What the hell did I just press? Bear targets. There we go. And if you're newer to Tradingview and you don't know what I'm doing, follow along. Look at what I'm doing. This is how you hide stuff. You need to know how to use the object tree. And to get into there, I guess I can move this thing. To get into there, you can't see it here either. It's this guy here. See that? It looks like a bunch of pages. And if you're using a small screen, you have to, and you can't see that. You have to hover over this and scroll up and down, but it doesn't move when I scroll because my screen's big. But sometimes you have to, just hover and scroll down, and then that'll pop up. All right, okay. Let's see here, and now I can lock them and then make them. Oh, I didn't get them all in there. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna zoom out so you can look at that. All right, screenshot that or pause it, go back in the video, pause it, and try to make it look the same. All right, here we go. Now we're going to look at the small time frames, how it bounces on it. Let's go to the 1 hour chart. And even big dives down. Look how precise this is. I'm telling you, these macro lines help on the micro time frame. I'm telling you. And that's what Price is playing with now. Okay, so on KCS, now that we're finally on the micro time frames. All right. Okay. I don't know if I'm going too in depth. Let me know if you think I just go too much on this. Maybe you just want a price target and shut up the rest. I don't want to understand why. Just give me your target, man. Just tell me. I don't know if that's what you're feeling, but I'm trying to explain to you how I come about this solution, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I want to measure off its lows. How high up is it? Bitcoin is up 15%. This is up less than Bitcoin off its lows. That's not very strong. So this is not going to have permission to do a lot of fantastic stuff. but it's holding up rather strong though for an all. It's only down 70%. So on the macro, it's holding up pretty well. On the micro, it's doing nothing. You know, it's not partying hard like Matic and Atom, and Near and Curve already partied hard. Curve went up to like freaking $2. It's insane. Curve was the first mover. It moved before everything, even before Ethereum. All right, so this will be the daily 21. So if that's easy. It says it's moving with Bitcoin. I already know when I put the daily 21 on, it's gonna be somewhere about here. Hopefully. Let's find out. Let me keep my finger there. Let's watch. Oh no, it changed it. Let me try it again. Let me guess. Somewhere about there. That's the weekly 21. Nope, I was off. I was too high, way too high on a percentage basis. All right, now let's zoom in to see, but this is going to be the target. Most likely. So with a good SPX closure and Bitcoin goes with the word I invented, slideways, which slightly up and sideways, over only through Monday, Tuesday, but potentially into next week with a good SPX closure. This is where KCS is going. It could do a few things up there, but Bitcoin, that's where it's going to stop under those parameters. And you could do a few things though. You could get rejected by it. I'm going to give you 3 price paths. Okay, you could just get a normal rejection by it. Like this. You could do a failure pattern above it. Even a double, you could jump on it and do a higher, potential higher, but just a general failure pattern above it, and then use that as resistance and then go down. So let's make that a more bullish case. Green. And what do you think the third option I'm going to give? So let me make those 2 invisible. If you had to guess, what? This is like Dora the Explorer. Do you see the mochila? I don't mean to be come across that way, but I really want you to think about it. What? Cosas the Exploradora. All right, or the Explorer. Anyway. But what do you think? So if this is the target, oop, why did this turn green? Should be yellow. The daily 21. What do you think the third option is? We already have a rejection. Kind of goes, roughly straight up there. Rejection, then down. We have roughly straight up there. Failure pattern, and then down. What would be the third one? Is it waits for it to go, it goes sideways and waits for this to come down before hitting it. That also could happen, which means KuCoin shares doesn't do a lot of anything, which is already what it's doing, which is why I think it might be the third most likely. It might be my most likely, but anyway, these 3 are roughly equally as likely. So price could go for a third one. It could just, come up way short, use this as support, come up short again, boom, 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 keep right its origin line, see this blue line, origin line, and boom, then, wick above it and then gets shoved down. So let's make that one yellow. Or no, not yellow, pink. And let's throw the others on. And let's pin some. So daily 21 really is all you need, right? But there are 3. So just remember, there are 3 general ways to get there. Most likely paths. So it could go as high as it could scrape 970, and it could stay as low as 930, and the next one would take it up to 940. So from 930 to 970. And there you be. That is KuCoin shares. Okay, Nate asks 2 questions. And thank you for prefacing it as 2 questions. If you could only pick up 1 or 2 Bitcoin Pokemon cards, at what point would you look to sell them and move into alts? I already know the answer to that. When it breaks all-time highs. Yeah, when it breaks all-time highs. But I would specifically go after mid-cap alts, because by the time Bitcoin's already made, if you chose Bitcoin as the first mover, it's likely that Bitcoin will have run for 2 months. So I guess I have 2 answers. That's a really good question. All right. The main answer is disperse after Bitcoin breaks the 69K top with volume. That's when the small alts, mid alts are gonna start flying. So and YouTubers are going to begin to talk about they're going to begin to start talking about smaller cap stuff. Some of the bigger YouTubers will, especially if they get on the top gainers list, and which is how they choose them usually. At least the bigger accounts do. Because it has a hot day of 100% or something. It's on the top, or 200%. It's on the top gainers. It's going to be around that time. But there is another way to go about it. When Bitcoin, I would say 1 to 2 months, if you're straight up in Bitcoin from bottom and you want to know when to start, going into alts, the second answer to that involves more layer ones. Where's my clean chart? Here is a clean chart right here. Okay, and I'm going to go to the 2-day chart. Yeah, this is a really good question. And I won't forget to read your second question. All right, so let me throw on the weekly 21 and the weekly 10. And I'll take off price. Okay, so this is 13 years of price history. What we're going to do is, for my second answer, to move from Bitcoin to layer ones, it'll be before all-time highs. But it's easy to have kind of an indicator of when. So it's when red crosses above yellow in 1 or 2 months after, then layer ones are really going to start flying. That's when Ethereum's going to start. So here's the cross. A couple weeks later, that's when Ethereum will start taking off. Maybe even Solana, Cardano, they'll start making really, really good gains. And that would be way before Bitcoin will have broken its previous all-time high. So what I'm talking about here, see how it's way, it's not even close to being up this high. So dispersing into layer ones a couple months after the wait, do I have the right EMAs on? Weekly. False alarm. There, that's about the same area. That's coincidental though. When red goes above yellow, when the weekly 10 EMA, which is red, goes above the weekly 21 EMA, a couple months after, going into layer ones is probably a good play. And then they're going to run. And then when Bitcoin gets above here, that would be a good time to then disperse out of the big layer ones and into your mid caps and small caps to start making the guess. Which small cap or mid cap is a big YouTuber got to talk about first? Because you're going to then be able to identify, the flavors of the month. Okay, remember the last flavors of the month in this last bull market was oracles in late 2020 to essentially lead the altcoins up, or at least big altcoins up. It was oracles. And then it was the big word on the street that started taking off in January was it DeFi? It was DeFi. And then the third flavor of the month. So this is what YouTubers talked about. They all talked about the same thing, and all those coins that had it on their website were an oracle. They all fucking went up 10,000%. Right? So that's when that's going to happen. Right? Okay, but for small alts, the same type of wave will. So if YouTubers are talking about a couple of flavors of the month, before Bitcoin's at all-time highs, those flavors of the month will be big caps. I don't think micro caps at 5 million market cap are going to participate. But if Bitcoin is at the all-time high, and you can start getting the flavors of the month, then you start looking for small caps to disperse into those that you think will hit the flavors of the month that YouTubers talk about, essentially. This is really in-depth, free information, so I hope you appreciate this. Like, this is very specific stuff. This is like crawling out of a bear market strategy. So hopefully I was clear with that. But the flavors of the month, just so you can realize how it went down. So oracles, when Bitcoin was still under its all-time high, it was racing up to its all-time high of 20K in late 2020. So it started racing up October. It got there around December 22nd or December 24th. It crossed it before Christmas. No, it's around 19th, 20th. It was around the 24th. It's around Christmas. I know this because I had to bet that it would be above its previous all-time high before January 1st, 2021. And I never got paid for that bet either. Damn it. I need to go collect. That was a while ago. Anyway, oracles during that time, then DeFi, then Web3, then NFTs, then Metaverse at the hind end, and it was too late. So that flavor of the month was like a firecracker that just goes like that was Metaverse. Had the crypto market continued to go up without Wyckoff, had the Bitcoin cartel not crashed Bitcoin, those would have gotten awesome gains. So you got to realize there's going to be flavors of the month, and that's how you try to choose how to disperse into it. Okay, so I gave you more than what you asked for. Now your second question. Okay. Can you look at possible OP bear market? At OP bear market target? OP, is that a coin? OP crypto. Okay, it is a coin. Let's go P. All right. Ooh, wow. This one is in good shape. Oh, it came out. Okay, so it's only been alive since June. So had this been alive in 2020, it would have looked like this. All right. So for relativity, even though it looks in shape, had it actually, let's see, maybe it's let's say it's 78% down from this. Let's see how good of a job it did. Oh, that's a little deep. So I made this a little high. So that's 92. This looks like it'd be stronger than 92% down from this wick eye. So maybe like this. Yeah, that's a little bit, maybe slightly lower. There you go. So that's what the chart would look like had this been a little older. Okay. Wow, it still looks like it's in good shape though. Man. This is a little stronger than what I would have guessed a newer altcoin would be. Dang, it's 5.5x off its lows. This one, damn, I'm gonna look into this. There's a lot of interested people in this. As long as it's not something as ridiculous as Luna Connect 2.0. That's a reference to BitConnect, the official Ponzi of 2017 bull run. Luna Connect 2.0 is Luna Classic. Wow. I don't know what to think of this. It doesn't have much price history. It definitely got hot. There are definitely interested buyers. So it's real testament of what it's going to do next. Honestly, so I can't guess how it'll interact with this, but what I can say for this one is, I think I can show you where its macro direction, like its true strength, is really you're going to start being able to figure out which way. And it's really easy. Watch. So I've never seen this chart before, but I can already see this. So like, I don't know if anybody's played chess or even checkers. You have to think about, damn, I just dragged that. Actually, I do need to put that back. Womp, 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 like that. You need to think about, what's going to happen and what it would look like. You got to be able to envision the future, right? And so this horizontal here, somewhere between here to here, is going to be a big deal in the future. Also, what's always a big deal in crypto is a freaking 45-degree angle from its all-time high. Oh, I didn't draw that out long enough. Boom. So draw those two things on your chart, and if it can get above, right? So it'd knock out two things in one, so it'd kill two birds with one stone. If it gets above $1.60 and holds it as support, and then makes another local high, it's going to make all-time highs. But until that point, you don't know if it's just noob investors saying, we're going to be rich, like the Luna Classic people. You're going to be able to see how much gas they really have at this point. As of now, it still might have gas. Oop, that was a firework. I didn't mean to press that. So right now, it still might have a second push of gas. I mean, just imagine when Luna Classic, that's been firing off, it does a 70% correction. It could still make another higher high, right? Altcoins did it during altcoin season all the time. And so, but the cool thing about this, it's already taken that nice nosedive. So right here around $1, or maybe even lower, if it gets rejected from this point lower, you know, I think it looks like it easily has enough gas to get to $1.38, $1.36, $1.38. It looks like it's definitely going to hit that. And it could stop in the middle of the projector tool as well. So horizontal here at the bottom, middle of the projector tool, like Solana did. Remember, I did the same thing on Solana to say, even when it was down at $90, I said, it doesn't matter if it goes up to $150, which was the middle of my projector tool. I said, it's still going under 30, right? So that could happen as well. That would put you at a $1.45 target. And this horizontal, it could be sucked up there and get rejected and then go down. So you're not going to truly know until $1.61. But as it enters this area of interest, you're gonna. That's when you're close to kind of knowing how this is going to boil down, or how this is going to look when it's boiled down. But you have to wait until that happens. It'll be interesting for this coin. Because if it gets above $1.60, it could do so with some heavy ass volume. It could really fly out of that, especially if it gets like in the middle and kind of goes sideways. Uses that support, it would fly out with some heavy volume. That would be if it can ignore the rest of crypto. Yeah, this is a good chart. This one's going to be fun when it gets there. It'll be really, if you're really interested in this coin, it'll be fun to watch it there. But honestly, from a spot trade perspective, that looks like it's going to be a damn good spot trade. That's 25% trade. That's not financial advice. Definitely Pokemon cards only, but it looks like it's going to hit her. And again, I just said something bullish, so I don't want people to go freaking rush to buy this. Depends on tomorrow. Bad closure SPX, I mean, it might not get there. I'm going to be very clear. So stop drilling over, be pointing at 25% on spot. Might not get there. So please, don't go out and start 100x long. And I don't even know if this is on futures, but because it's this strong, I would suspect it is potentially a big cap. I don't know. I would imagine this is over. I don't know. Let's go look. All right, I gotta be about done here. OP. Ooh, I don't know which one this is. That's $250 million. Yeah, that's not small. That is a large mid cap in a bear market. So in a last bull market, this would be a mid cap, but for a bear market at this market cap, that's a large mid cap. What position is it on? Like, this has got to be on like page 2 of CoinMarketCap, right? Ooh, it's almost cracking page 1. So what was it? 230. Yeah, so it's in here somewhere. There it is. Yep, it's near the top of page 2 on CoinMarketCap. Damn, it's not doing too. This is wow, that's pretty strong for yeah, because small caps coming out this recently, there's no way they would be this strong. Just no damn way. Yeah, this looks pretty good. This looks like a good one. All right, I got to be done. Let me make sure I didn't did I get sound with the AC on? Is fine from here. Now I'm okay. With the recordings, the sound gets awful. Also, could stock market and the economy in general throw cycle? Wait. Also, could the stock market and economy in general throw off cycle in relation to halvening? I don't No. I think it aligns actually with line B hit on Nasdaq Composite futures. I think it roughly aligns with 200 days before the next halvening. So if you look at it like this, and this is the last one I gotta go after this. So let's say it takes this long to get down to line B. That is roughly let's say late July, early August. Wow. How the hell did I do both at the same time? That was interesting. But late August 2023. Now let's go to Bitcoin. Is that about 200 days before the halvening? I think it aligns because I think I kind of connected that as well as evidence of the 200 theory. So going to the 2-day, it's May 2024 roughly. I think it depends on block times, right? So block times can average 10 to 12 minutes. So this is an estimate. I think it's estimated currently around May 10th, something to that effect. That's the halvening. So is when I draw out here 200 days, is that, how does August of 2023 align? So 200 days is right. So typically bull markets start with at that or before. Oh, you son of a bitch, computer. Or no, those are my fingers. That wasn't my computer. Let me try it one more time. So if it's going to throw it off, that means it would have to drag Bitcoin past here, right? Bitcoin would still have to be going down past this line. And I just projected that the stock market could hit that line easily by August, maybe September, right? So now let's go to August, September. And so that's about as long as the stock market hitting line B would drag down Bitcoin. And that still gives it in time for the 200 day. So I don't anticipate the stock market messing up that halvening cycle. Yeah, it seems to, it just barely squeezes in there, but it does fit. All right, hopefully this was a good, you guys interpreted this as a good stream. I went really in depth to show you why I'm coming up with this stuff. Hopefully that's helpful. I know it's it's easy just to want me to point and say this exact price, kind of like I did on Ethereum 2 days ago or whatever. But I want everybody to understand. So going in depth, hopefully I'm not boring anybody. And if you do think I went on too much about it, just realize that that's the stuff you need, because you need to know how to do this yourself. And my describing that is it helps you understand the number or understand, what's behind it. So it makes more sense, because the more you realize why it makes sense is the more you're going to be able to realize when I'm missing something, right? And it's going to be able to help you anticipate, the times that I'm wrong. If you're following along and getting my gist, because sometimes I miss stuff, and like I've just covered in my video yesterday. So definitely be going along and identifying how I'm getting to those solutions as I go in depth in the answers. I hope it was enjoyable for you. We'll see you next week.